have this done by your Achilles. Yeah. Back on your heels. We're gonna just rock back and forth. Toes, heels, toes, heels. Let's go back up. You feel that? Okay. So I talked about last week a little bit at my conference, Level Up, and I read the book Heather Moyse. It's not moist, Heather Moyse. I was told, my French. And last week is a beautiful book. You guys should read it. Inside of that, there's quite a few gems actually that I really enjoyed. One is this concept of winning, which I'm going to talk about today. So we believe that we compete to win, but we don't. And I learned this last week, more so than from Heather than anywhere else. It's because of course we want to win, right? But that's not why we compete. And during her talk, she passed around her gold medals, which I talked about last week. And one of the things that kind of struck me is like all these medals were passed around and they were her medals were like not shiny, they were scratched. And the gold was kind of wearing off. And I thought, geez, you should take care of these things. That's how I felt. And then she said, go ahead, put it on. And I thought, okay, do you want me to take a picture, she asked me, of just me with the medal? I said, no, I can't do that. It's not my medal. And I didn't understand where she was going with this. And when I read her book, I completely understood. Because she believed that winning a gold medal, that's her moment. But the gold represented something bigger. The gold medal represents something bigger. So she's passing it around so that everybody gets a piece of it, everybody touches it, everybody gets a feel of it, everybody gets inspired by it, right? And she said in her book, I could keep this medal in a lock closet somewhere and then take it out in 25 years and be shiny and pure and beautiful. But only I would have been inspired by that moment. But if I pass it around and everybody touches that medal, then I'm re-gifting it because it's not my moment, it's your moment. So how does that apply in life, and what do I mean by competing? We compete not to win. Because she understood that she had her moment and the rest was to be able to give it to you. So if you give a gift, right, and you rejoice in the fact that you won the gift, somebody gives you a compliment, for example, and it boosts up your ego, you feel good, and you keep that inside of you. Well, that's a gold medal for you. But if you give it to someone else, if you take that compliment and you pass it on to your kids, to your friends, to your loved ones, then you're re-gifting it. You're reliving that moment, right? You're gifting it away. So what I learned by that is, when we win something, why are we so enthusiastic about winning? It's because when we do something that really feels good, that we've never done before, basically we're in our prefrontal cortex. We produce dopamine, it feels good. That's the simple of it, right? So we compete. We do things, we're in our flow, we do things that are amazing, we create things, when we do these things, we're basically producing dopamine to feel good. So why is that important for the brain? Well, I've learned with Jason Cyrus, who's a hypnotist, because I interviewed 5-6 people that were hypnotized or almost hypnotized with Jason Cyrus last week. And every single person who actually attempted to be hypnotized or were hypnotized felt 100% better than the week before. More energized, more clear. I said, clear about what? Clear about my life. That's what they've responded. And the people who weren't hypnotized, well, they weren't as clear. They were the same as before. So why is that? Well, hypnotism is a little bit like winning a goal. And it's a little bit like meditation. What hypnotism is, basically, it makes you forget about your little voices in your head, makes you forget where you are, and it focuses all your energy in your prefrontal cortex, which is where you are when you're in flow, when you're doing amazing work, when you're creative, when you're winning gold, right? When you're doing something really good, when you discover something about yourself that you never discovered before, and it produces dopamine, makes you feel good. So why is the brain wired that way? Because we're built to evolve. We're built to move forward. That's why we get bored with something. So we buy a new camera, 2 weeks later, we got to buy a new camera or a new iPhone, whatever it is, because we get bored with it. Because we want something new. We make a mistake that we just buy something new. What we're looking for is to become something new. What we're looking for is to become something different than we were yesterday. And that's what competing is about. Competing is about not winning. It's about becoming somebody new, something you've never done before. That's why we climb mountains. That's why we find flow. That's why we create. That's why we create food or create software to become somebody we haven't been before. So when we're in that prefrontal cortex, the body says, hey, that feels good. And that's the hypnotic state, and that's the meditation, and that's flow, and that's winning. It's all the same thing. It's all meant to make us feel good, so we evolve. But once we've evolved, once we've won the medal, once we've gathered something, the only thing you can do is you have to give it away. Because if you don't give it away, then you actually become comfortable. You stay there. You don't continue to evolve. And that's why Heather, she understood this. If you go on her website, it's kind of cool. You see the countdown of all the medals she's won. It's pretty cool. Check it out. Like you see little numbers go up. It's amazing. She keeps pushing herself, not to win more gold medals, but to continue to improve herself, to push herself. And how does she decide these things? Well, she flips a coin. Quite interesting. So if you have a big decision to make and you want to know which one to make, and you've weighted all the pros and cons, because I'm an engineer, I do that. I have pros and cons, and I still can't decide. She takes a coin and she says, head, I'm going to go that way, and tails, I'm going to go that way. And you commit to that decision, and you flip it. And I did this last week. It's pretty cool. And you look at it. If it's tails and you're happy, it's the right decision. And if it's tails and you're unhappy, then you choose head. So you go towards your heart. And that's how she decides to follow each one of her steps to allow her to evolve to the next thing. Because we're faced every single day with decisions in order to evolve. And that's what she does, right? She doesn't stay comfortable, but she doesn't do things to be uncomfortable. She does things to evolve. She does things to basically get to the next level. And once she's won something, she passes it around. She gives it to people so she can actually move on to the next thing. Make sense? Pretty cool, right? So try the flip coin. If you have a big decision to make, you can't choose, then flip a coin. Because remember, not choosing is also a choice. And every single time you don't choose, what you're doing is you're telling your brain, I'm not worthy. You're telling your brain, I'm going to lose. You're telling your brain, I'm not moving forward. But every time you make a choice towards your heart, towards your courage, you make a choice to win. You make a choice to move forward. So you have to choose. You have to choose towards your heart. And then when you win something, when you discover something, you have to give it away. And that's her secret of winning gold. I hope you have a great week. Thank you very much.